Welcome to the Coffee Talkie Show, the podcast for women living abroad. We're so happy to have you here with us today because we want to talk to you about a subject that we see a lot of people wondering and questioning about, and it is, how do we even choose a place to live in? What are the factors to consider? What should we think about before moving abroad, before choosing the destination? Like, where am I moving? I want to move, but where to? Can you relate to this feeling? If yes, this episode is for you. Let's begin. So, if you've been thinking of moving abroad, whether you're a digital nomad or you want to go on this adventure of life abroad on your own with your family, there's a lot of factors to consider. And to be honest, there's a lot of BuzzFeed questionnaires. You can go and fill out them out. I've done it more than once. That will put into consideration like all the things that are relevant for you. But we want to talk about it a little bit today to make sure that you think of the important things that are related to life abroad and life in general. And that's on the inner side, not necessarily related to cost of living. It can, but
it's important as well. You know, there are many factors when you're choosing a place to live in, but let's dig deep inside this topic. I see a lot of people that are posting online it's like, I want this and this and this and this and this and this. Could you give me some suggestions on what countries are available to me? And when you read it, you realize that what they're asking is basically their life, what they have right now, but in a different geographical place. And I often laugh about those because it's like you're missing the point. If you move abroad and you want the same life, then why go through all this mess? Because we see, like, I want to move to a country where the weather is the same as the one I like in my country, and there is a big community of people from the same country I come, so we can speak the same language and have the same traditions together. And I want somewhere where the health system is the same and the education system is good, and like, okay, so why are you moving?
yeah.
And that's another episode, so check it out, because it's important to know why you're moving. But if you already know, for example, why you're moving,
then the question is, when you look at the place where you want to go to, where are you putting your focus on? And honestly, like, while I was listening to you and thinking about this episode, there's a lot to compare to dating life. Like, we focus on, I want him to be tall and with blonde hair and with a good job. But is it, like, really what is important? And I have to tell you, very personally, I had to go through this change in approaching dating the same way I had to go through it when I looked for a place. Because when I shared with you earlier, years ago, I remember, like, every couple of weeks, I would open those websites, be like, I want to move abroad. Where should I move to? Where is my perfect place right now? It might be Singapore. It might be Barcelona. I had the US at some point. I had, like, different places in the US. Australia, Dublin, UK, France, Spain, Italy. Every time I would answer the questions, I would end up with a different answer, therefore never taking any action on it, because I clearly don't know where I want to go. Because it's really confusing when you don't know. When everything is open, it's a little bit too overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, and I think we need to first understand that there is no perfect place, first of all. Second, it's really personal how you feel about different places, because I don't want to move, for example, to a place where it's always warm and sunny it makes me miserable. But someone else would be like, oh my god, this is the perfect place. I want to live by the beach, have the sun on my face all the time. Like, oh my god, no, I need sunscreen all the time. And
so it's very personal.
It's really personal, and there's no perfect place. So that's, the basics.
But those things, and if I compare it again to like the dating life, those things are like the characteristics that are external.
Yeah.
Okay? We look for them, and we tend to put a lot of pressure to find those. But what we want to invite you to think, because we're doing things differently, right? Because you can find those websites, and you can find those where you should be living web answers based on those characteristics of weather and jobs and languages and communities and stuff like that. But we're here to talk about you on the inside. And we want you to consider some factors that you might not thought about it. And those are related to your values, your emotions, your mental situation, your lifestyle, but from a personal approach and not necessarily like, I love going to the beach. But
although it can be really
important, right? Like those are important, right? If you're a person that really suffer from the heat, do not move to a super warm country like that. You will not be happy in Valencia or in Texas probably. Like you should look at those things as well. But look at it from a perspective of inner stuff, like the emotions. Because will it really make you miserable? If yes, then that's definitely not for you. But is it maybe something you could compromise on because it answers other things that you value and care? Like it's about what is the priority of what you're looking for.
I think, it's really important, but I want to, bring up that most of us don't really know those things in advance. You assume, you have some prejudice about different countries. You think that people are polite in a place, or they respect your privacy in a place, or they're very loud in some place. You think but until you live in a place, you don't really know.
Sure.
So this is a great place to ask other people that are living in different countries to get this information. Okay, so instead of asking, hey, where can I go if I like sunny days and mojitos all days, ask, where can I find a country where people are super polite and very, down to earth? I don't know. Whatever fits your values, because you won't really know. And even if you visited a country,
it's not the same.
It's not the same when you're a tourist and when you're living in a country. It's really not the same. So, there's actually a trend right now of people going to test a couple of countries before they decide. They're like taking a year and live 3 months in each different destination, and really try to live in this place. Like not in a hotel, like rent an Airbnb for 3 months, go to the supermarket, go to the doctor, go to an office, talk to people, and then you really get the values of the place, because this is something you won't find in a Lonely Planet or on BuzzFeed as well.
Yeah, but for that, you need to first be aware of what are your values and
what's important.
What's really important for you, because there's things behind what we like. When people are asking, I would love to go live in another place that has exactly the same community that I'm having right now. What's the reason behind it? What's the real thing that you're looking for? Okay, there's always something about it. Is it a cultural thing that it's important for you to keep your culture? Is it like a religion? Is it maybe just a feeling of security and feeling safe? Is it a sense of belonging?
Or community, you know, sometimes you feel like you need the support of a community.
Yeah.
Okay. But actually you can find it in various ways. Not only what you know. Okay. It's easier for us to ask for what we know. What we already know, it's easier for us to, you know, okay, I want this because this is what I know. How can we ask for something we don't know?
True. But that's why, if you look at the factors, if you put the importance and the focus on the things that are really important to you on the inner side, you can then go and ask for those. Like, for example, I've done my BuzzFeed thing and it showed me that on a matter of languages, income, and weather, those are two options for me. I could either move to Rome or to Barcelona. And then you can go on different Facebook groups and ask people that are living there, hey, I really value freedom of speech. I really value women place and in a society. I really value feeling super safe in the street, being able to go being able to walk around, and do my things. And how are those places? I know that when you, for example, had the option to move to Nigeria at some point, one of the things was the fact that you understood pretty quickly that you will not be able to walk in the streets.
And what I did, actually, I called on the phone a couple of women that are living there and asked them all those questions. Not, you know, where can you buy groceries? It's not important to me. And she was telling me, you can buy Nutella at this supermarket. And I don't care about the Nutella. I'm like, will I be able to move freely? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay. This is important for me to know. And again, I want to emphasize Facebook. And when you're asking someone something, you will get their answer. And it's very personal. And we see it all the time with life in Paris. We see people telling life in Paris is dangerous and it's not for foreigners, and French people hate foreigners and they're not nice and they're rude. And I'm like, are we living in the same city, in the same country? I love living here. They really match my values. You know, when I moved to France, that's a funny story. One of my friends, she said to me, oh, finally you will be able to feel at home in France. I'm like, why? So, because here in Israel, you are the arrogant one, but in France, you'll be just one of them. And I'm like, yay, I'm not arrogant. That's my way of living. I'm like, I'm taking a step back. And in Israel, I was the snob, the arrogant, the unfriendly. And here, I'm just like everybody else.
But it's because you found a place that matches your inner stuff. It's not only because you could find many other countries that had education system, good health system, good incomes. You could, but you looked for some place that makes you feel home, makes you feel connected.
Appreciates my arrogance.
Appreciates your arrogance. It aligns with your values. And I can share with you on the same, personal story. I decided to leave Israel because I realized it didn't match. It didn't align anymore with my values, my way of wanting to live my life, what I desired for a future. It didn't align. So I was like, I'm going to leave. But because it was during COVID and because I've done all those BuzzFeed questionnaires, I didn't know where I want to move. I had a couple of options in mind and I was like, but I just need to make the first step currently. And because I have French citizenship and because it was COVID, so everything was closed anyway, I was like, I'm going to move to France and I will reassess friends because I was not sure about this place. To be totally honest, I remembered France as a teenage. That's when I left France in my previous version. I knew France and Paris as a tourist, but I wasn't sure it will align with my current version of me. And I came with a very open heart, open mind. Be like, okay, but what is important? So I started, as you mentioned before, like you test the ground. So I came here and I was like, let me look at what's going on in the politics. Let me look what's going on in the city. Let me look what's going on around people. Let me look at what's going on. My values. Am I feeling safe in the streets? Can I walk around and feel as a woman alone at 2 a.m. walking back alone? I'm fine. Am I okay telling where I'm coming from here? Yes. I have a name that is not French, right? My name is Gal. Everyone will ask me where are you coming from? And I remember places in life that I was not confident to tell where I'm coming from, right? We come from a complicated country. But all those things started to align. And I remember about 6 months after I moved, I was like, I'm falling in love with the country again, with Paris again, but it actually feels good with what I'm looking for. But I can tell you that I've done many different tests to check it. Because those were the factors that were important to me when choosing a place to stay. True, I love the sun compared to you. And I thought that I might miss it very much. And I might feel like I need to be closer to the sea in some way. And maybe other places would be a better fit. But when I looked at those inner stuff, those real emotions and values and standards of living that I want to live, I was like, this place is very close to a perfect match. I don't believe there's a perfect match. I believe at any point we change, we adapt, we compromise. That's life. But it was very close. Yeah. It is very close.
Yeah, like I said before, there's no perfect place. And in every place, even if it matches some of your value, compromise for others. And that's okay. This is where you need to know what's the most important thing to you. And second, and what's important to you, but you can live without it.
Yeah.
The sea, the beach, for example.
Yeah, so I can travel. This is where I really remember at some point telling myself, you know what? I really love the life here. I do miss the notion of summer and being close to the sea and stuff like that, because it was part of something that I really love and I really appreciate. But I can plan to travel twice a year, to be close to the sea. I was like, okay, I could do that at some point. So it's not such a big deal. Do I need it on a daily basis? Probably not.
Yeah. So we're really inviting you to just write down the things that are important to you. Also, there are those logistical things like cost of living, where it's easier for you to go live if you have, citizenship somewhere, European citizenship. Where can you get a visa to work in a place? There's always a solution, but start where it's easy. Sometimes it's find your options and look, if you need special things, in the healthcare system, maybe. If you have kids, look at the education system. Those are important, but let's take, for example, the education system, okay? So I went to school as a little girl in France. I loved it. Those were my 3 best years in school as a kid. I remember this as an amazing experience. And this is what I wanted for my kids. I said, okay, my kids, they're going to school. I want to give them this experience. I want to, give them knowledge and adventures and, amazing things, museums and field trips. And this is what I wanted. So I said to my husband, hey, let's go to France. They have an amazing educational system. But only after a year of being here in France, I realized that actually they have so little amount of days of school. It's like the lowest in the world, I think, in Europe at least. And their hours at school are not that long, you know. It's like they go here to school for 4 days, okay? And they have a lot of holidays and a lot of bank holidays and
strikes.
I strikes, and I realized, yeah, I think they're getting a lot of knowledge, amazing knowledge, amazing content. But also, oh my God, they're missing a lot of time in school. Like, how come it's like I'm seeing them more and more? And I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. I was a kid when I was here, and I didn't remember that this was the case. But again, when I look at it, okay, so this is something that bothers me. Actually, it bothers me that they're not going to school like 5 days a week, for example. But I can compromise on it because I see the value that they're getting at school. Right, it's not perfect. It's not the perfect educational system. It has a lot of problems and bugs, and it's not perfect. I understand. There's no perfect place. No. If you're coming from a country with a perfect educational system that is not Finland, please reach out. But again, I don't believe in perfect. I don't believe we should look for the perfect, but we should I looked for the experience, for the different kind of knowledge. I didn't want a school where all they learn is math and French, English, Hebrew. It doesn't really matter. I wanted them to learn other things, you know, and I got this. For me, I got this, and they got it, and I'm happy with what I got because this was what's important to me.
But that's where, like, and it's a great example, so I want to emphasize the point here. If you only focus on, I would want 5 days a week my kids going to school from this hour to this hour, well, you will find it in many places, right? But what is the values? What is the standards? What are the emotions that you attach to it? What are the inner thoughts, the inner beliefs, the things that are really, really important for you? Put them higher in the ranking of the priorities than the actual, like, technical part of this. Because you will soon find out that you can compromise on some of the technical things if it meets the deeper things that you want. But it will be way harder the other way around. Okay? If you find the technical bits, but then you feel like something's off, this is not right, then it's going to be harder. So this is our, like, alternative approach to finding a place. We will not tell you. You will not hear me telling you. You only go to a place that fits your language, that fits your visa, that fits your
the cost of living.
Like, you know, cost of living. I talked to a friend yesterday. She said to me, like, you know, Gal, in the US, I could earn 3 times the money that I'm earning here. But, and then she started, the system is different. You pay here more taxes, but you get other things. But actually the cost of life is different. But I agree more with things happening here than I agree with what happens in there. I feel more aligned. I want to live here, so I make it happen. Even if it means taking a notch down on my lifestyle. Maybe it means I'm not going to be able to buy the bags that I wanted or to travel.
But isn't it important to you?
And she was like, it is important to me, but on the ranking, something else is more important. And that's what I'm trying to say, like, understand what's inner stuff. Because you can easily get used to having a different lifestyle and speak a different language and have different friends and get used to different systems. It might take some challenges, it might require some changes, but you can get used to different things. It's way harder to have to change your entire personality and your entire value system and your entire belief system to fit in another place.
That's so true. That's absolutely true. I think that's the reason we both left Israel, because we didn't want and we couldn't change who we are to fit in this place anymore. So we looked for another place where we can be
ourselves. And I think that would be my number one factor to look for a place. Look for a place where you can be who you want to be, who you are, your real self, and where you feel good about yourself and your decisions and your beliefs and your desires and your dreams. When you feel great about it, you will be able to make everything else work. And this will make a place perfect for you. It doesn't have to be perfect for anyone. It's not absolute perfect, but it has to be great or perfect for you. And the only way it's going to be is if you feel great about it.
Absolutely. And I want to add something. The podcast is for women that are living and moving abroad. And if you, as a woman, want to be something and to feel meaningful, doing something, working in something, doing whatever you believe is right, and you want to look for the country that will give you the opportunity to actually do it, and don't find yourself in countries where you're limited because you're a woman, or that you can't do or can't speak or can't be yourself because you're a woman, because sadly there are still countries where this is the case, and sadly we see it even in our own country. But this is again one of the reasons where I want to raise my daughters in a country that respect women, that value women, that have women in higher positions in politics, where their voice matters. Still, there is a lot to do, but this is from me to you right now as a woman. If you want to do something, find the place that will give you the opportunity to speak up and do whatever it is that you want to do. This is valuable, and if it's important to you, you should put it first.
Yeah, I think that will sum up today's episode. Be you. And if you're looking for a place to move to, and if you want to go on this adventure of life abroad for yourself, for your family, for a while, for some time, it doesn't really matter. You will always find the ways to deal with the technicalities. But make sure you choose a place where you can feel good, where you as a woman be your strong self, your proud self, do whatever you feel like doing. Everything is possible. Just go and find this place for you. We wish you an amazing day.
Yeah, and we hope this was valuable to you, and you took some notes, and maybe you'll find your perfect place that is right for you and for what you believe and for who you are. And we'd love to hear where this place is, so please share it with us. You can comment below or just send us a message, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.